Okay, so if you guys remember the trading setup we had with Mara stock, it hit our take profit line once again. So did you guys sell? That's my question. If you did, let me know. I'm very curious. It can either be in the comments or just you can DM me on Discord or on socials. I'm very curious because it's all playing out really really well. So we're gonna talk about Mara stock first, and then we're gonna jump into Bitcoin and get a really really good understanding of at least what I'm looking for, right? So remember, guys, everything in this video is just my own personal opinion. I like to share it with you guys, and no means am I telling anyone to copy. Instead, please do your own due diligence. But to get started, guys, remember we just got over the first, so it's September 10th. We got over the first inflation report. We have another one. I believe this one's more significant. Um, just personal opinion, but it's going to be core CPI. And then we have an initial jobless claims, and it all comes out an hour before the US market opens. Remember, these are the last two setups that really, really set the stage for the September 17th, Wednesday next week, FOMC interest rate decision. So this also is going to be the last video for like a day or two, just because if you guys remember in yesterday's video, I am picking up a new addition to my car fleet tomorrow, and I'm going to be documenting it, and I want to just do a little review on it, from what I like about it, for that first day. So I'm going to take some time to edit the video, just look at the documentation that I make before I upload it for you guys. So no video tomorrow because I'm gonna be enjoying the car, and then probably no video Saturday because I just really want to drive it, really enjoy it. But Saturday for sure, um, Saturday for sure, I'll have that video up for you guys, and then we'll get back on our chart planning videos. But yeah, if you guys remember, and I'm not gonna go over the bigger picture view on Mara stock because it doesn't really matter right now. We're still within this sideways channel, and I talked about the bigger view, expectation realistically, and what can invalidate it for Mara stock so often. So I'm just gonna take a break from that and just focus on what really matters right now, which is the current opportunities for trading. Now, if you guys remember, we've just been trading longs from support, taking profit on resistance, trading shorts from resistance, taking profit on support. We've had so much opportunities to take advantage of these trades, and I've been, you know, updating you guys on them, like if I still think it's valid or not. For I think it's been about 3 weeks now, so it's been 3 weeks of really nice Mars stock fluctuations to take advantage of. The most recent one though, if you guys remember, we were trending down, and I kept saying like, okay, I think it was last Friday, we were down here. I even talked about it Thursday, and I said we can, we were here Thursday at the support line. I said, it's still very possible that we can see some more weakness below support before we go up, and that's exactly what we saw. And I said, if it makes sense for your own risk management, your own trading style, your own due diligence, if it makes sense to you, it's a good idea to look at potentially accumulating longs below the support line, because it's very likely that we can continue this sideways channel until we have a sustained break of structure to the upside. I believe in yesterday's video I explained what a sustained break of structure is for this setup, in my opinion. So it's there, but basically, it worked out, right? So we it was long opportunities, and I kept saying it's very very important. I've said this so many times before we had every take profit on shorts and longs. I kept saying limit orders besides SLs. SLs are always important 100%, but I kept saying that limit orders to take profit are super important, because every time we reach resistance or support, we tend not to trade on the other side of it for very very long. So it's very important not to be hopeful, greedy, or whatever. The idea is that we usually come back into the actual interior of this sideways channel very quickly. So if you guys did take longs here and you had limit orders to sell at the top of the channel, really, really, really nice trade. I mean, really nice trade. That's 7%. If that's 7% if you bought below the support line, amazing, right? And I called it out ahead of time. I just want to pat myself on the back because these trades have been working out very, very nicely, and there's never any weakness as long, there's no weakness to break out of either side sustainably until it proved itself. So this trade worked out very nicely, and it ended up being, um, it's like a 2 to 3 day long swing trade for this one. But now we're done. We're done with the long trade. Very nice, quick. But now it's time for short. So if you guys remember in every video, I said every time we take profit on longs, it's very important to also be ready to buy shorts, especially if we're above the resistance line. And I say the same thing when we're taking profit on shorts, right? If it comes down and we take profit on shorts, buying longs below support is very important, quick, because the recovery up can be fast. Just like down, the dip can also happen very, very quickly, especially this time right here. You know, it consolidated for a little bit. We held resistance as support, but we couldn't even get close to the previous swing high. So it just dropped down super quick, and it briefly, very briefly on this hourly candle hit take profit, and it quickly recovered up. So that's why it's so important to set those limit orders. But as of right now, we're done with longs, profit locked. So now the idea is that it's the same thing for short. So now the idea is that we can come down again. I always say this, fluctuations are very, very common. So we can potentially repeat something like this. It just really depends. There's a lot of economic data, especially tomorrow. There's two very important ones coming out, and we can see some fluctuations. There may be, if you guys missed out, there may be an opportunity to capture another short. So if the price goes back up, and right now we're also sort of respecting this descending resistance, right? So it's very important to keep an eye on. But the idea here is that we're looking at shorts, but if you missed out, there may be an opportunity. The price overall, I'm expecting it to come back down and take profit at the support line. But so support is a few cents over $15. Resistance is a few cents over 16.20. So the idea here is that the view is for it to come down, right, into the low 15s, but and reach support. But there's the possibility that we can fluctuate here, just like we did here a little bit. It just depends on what's happening in the macro, but all that is noise. It does not matter. So the idea here is that we're going down, and we'll end up finding support once again because we're still within this sideways structure. But before we come down, there is a possibility of the price going back and just consolidating here for a little bit before it comes down. So, if there's an opportunity where the price fluctuates up into resistance once again, it could be an opportunity to actually accumulate long shorts if you missed out on it, or double down if you didn't. Or by double down, I mean like maybe focus on your position sizing, and if you like it, you can add more to the shorts. But I wouldn't be surprised. I will not be surprised if we are back down into support by Friday market close. Now, if this macroeconomic data coming out, both of them are very bullish, the shorts could be closed out. So that's why it's so important to be focusing on your SL. So right now, at least to me, a really good SL would be $16.68, because if it's bullish news tomorrow, we can see the stock pop, and it can pop, and you don't want to be holding on to shorts if it pops, right? So the reason we're taking shorts again is we're at resistance, we're in a sideways moving channel, it can come down back here. That's the trade. Now, if you set an SL, and even if the SL gets triggered, in my opinion, that's a solid trade, because you managed very, very well your risk management, and you have a reason to get out of the trade. So since it's an hour before market close, I don't see why it's not a good idea to set an SL limit order for extended hours. To me, 16.68 is solid. That's fine. Because if there is a strong enough pump, and even if it reaches this line, it's very possible we can go up into the yellow resistance area. So that's the idea, right? We're going to be out. We're not going to get, at least to me, I'm not going to get hurt hitting that SL. But if the trade or the structure continues to play out as it is, then we'll be at take profit most likely by Friday. At least that's my current expectation. When it comes to Bitcoin, right, we're finally, and here's the thing, right, we're finally within this resistance area. So now, since we're in this resistance area, and I did update the support to factor in this move up we had today. Very nice. IBIT My iPid position is slightly in the profit. I'm not going to show it today because I want to show it when I actually do something with it, add more or sell some or whatever. If we continue to see appreciation within Bitcoin throughout the rest of this trading week, enough to make it go above 116 bucks, where I want to start locking in some profit within the premium section of this retracement resistance area. Because the idea here is that we're moving up, and if I show you guys this right now, this I would like to factor in some Elliott waves in this because I used to use them quite a bit, but it's kind of difficult for me to understand within this structure. So I'm just going to use the most extreme sides of all of this and give you guys a realistic, just based on the structure alone, the realistic nature of how high this rally can potentially go before resistance becomes very, very likely. So in order to do that, I'll make it like a light blue. So if support holds so far, right? And there's another support. I mean, if you draw resistance from the little swing low up to the current swing high, there's a more like aggressive support area. But regardless, as long as we're holding the overall support being the lowest level, 109.983k, so basically 110k, as long as we're holding above that, the idea is that we can continue to max out this first resistance area. So maxing out this area is very, very possible. I mean, we can easily break past the 0.5 at 116k and go a little bit higher to around 118. There is a lot of liquidation walls on the heat map, factoring in not just these value gaps in the green rectangle, but also supporting the overall retracement area. And now this extension area just shows that with the current structures that we're looking at, it's very possible that the price could reach um, just over this overall resistance area and potentially find resistance within the first value gap before we see the price come down. And then once it does, if it does that and it finds resistance, I'm just following the price higher with an overall retracement. Let's say it goes up to 120k. There's liquidation heat map walls kind of supporting that as well. But if it does and it finds resistance, the idea is that I'm looking for a higher low. If the higher low forms, then this purple area will be invalidated. If this fails, it's very possible we can have a second dip, a second bottom, just like this one right here at this 107.2k level, and potentially even dip into the purple very, very briefly. But those are just like speculations at the moment. So far, what the chart is telling me, and I'm still going to be holding on to this IBIT position until we at least go into this premium section, which is overlapping with the extension resistance area. The idea here is that we have enough momentum, we reach this area. If we have enough momentum to reach this area, we can easily see a dip below it to try to hold support and hold the 120 moving average because we're pretty far from the 120 moving average. So we can either go up straight up to roughly 118k, good median area. We can go straight up to this extension resistance area, overlapping with that first overall resistance area. We can either go straight up to it, or we can see a fluctuation come down a little bit, fill in some little, not significant, but I'm still going to mention the little value gaps down here. But it can come down, try to hold the 120 moving average, and then go up higher. So straight up or a little retracement for the 120, and then go up higher into this area. And then that's when I'm looking to start locking in some profit. If that doesn't happen, let's just say we see a lot of weakness and we actually break below this, then I'm just looking at, like I said in yesterday's video and many before, I'm looking at accumulating or supplementing, or complementing the IBIT position by buying some BitU on the side at very, very attractive levels for opening leveraged longs, which will be deep value down here below 107k. I'll be opening up some 2x leverage BitU ETFs for the long side, but as long as we're holding support and we're pushing higher within this resistance area, I'm looking to lock in some profit on a portion of my IBIT position within this area, and then from there I'll reaccumulate it in an overall support area that I just showed you guys previously. But as of right now, there is momentum. The RSI is showing some resistance, but we can still stretch a little bit higher. We broke previous resistances enough, and we're holding them where it makes sense to just let the price do its thing a little bit more. But regardless of what happens, I will update you guys soon. Most likely, again, not tomorrow, maybe not Friday, but another chart video on Saturday for sure. as well as the car delivery video that I mentioned yesterday. So yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed, and take care.